Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. The community that's raised thousands of pounds to help families rebuild their lives after a fire destroyed homes in Basingstoke.
People really have lost everything in those top floor flats, so it's really about a contribution of support.
The Northcroft Lido, closed last summer, is open to the public in Newbury just in time for the warmer weather.
Also this Monday evening, inspired by the Lionesses, summer classes in Hampshire for the budding footballers of tomorrow.
And 11 newborns in 11 years. Meet Henry, one of 2 white rhinos born at the Cotswold Wildlife Park in Oxfordshire. Good evening. A community has raised more than £12,000 for families affected by a fire that destroyed homes in a Basingstoke apartment block.
It swept through properties along Oakridge Road and homes were evacuated. Some people have been allowed back, but for others it could be another year before they can return. For now, they are in alternative accommodation. Well, the money raised has been used to buy clothes and furniture, and it's hoped it will help bring back some normality. Mike Pearce sent this.
It was back in May, firefighters from across Hampshire and Berkshire raced here to what local people described as an inferno. The whole area was evacuated and today 14 families are still unable to return home. The fire quickly took hold of these flats in Oakridge and could be seen for miles across Basingstoke. The local community immediately responded, offering help and support. The local pub, The Oak, became central to helping. Staff here later organised a community day and helped raise thousands of pounds.
There was just a lot of people outside. They were obviously looking concerned. A lot of families you could see in tears, it was heartbreaking to see. That was really awful, really, really awful. We've organised a huge fund day and we contacted loads of different companies, charities and businesses within the area. A lot of them donated a lot of amazing raffle prizes. And we had a huge fun day and for the families obviously to come along and actually enjoy, just have some fun with their children, because obviously currently they're in a situation where they've lost everything.
Those coordinating the support say more than £12,000 has now been raised, with cash being distributed to those affected.
So essentially what we've had an emergency response fund that have gone from both the Borough Council and Vivid Housing Association. This was to support with emergency funding needs, but what we saw was there was a desire from the community to respond and to be able to provide something to support the families. So we know there have been donations of goods as well, but essentially what we found is that people wanted to donate money because we know, as we can see from above here, people really have lost everything in those top floor flats. So it's really about a contribution of support.
An investigation by Hampshire Fire and Rescue revealed the blaze was caused by an electrical fault. Quickly on scene on the day was the leader of Basingstoke and Dean Borough Council, who is also a local resident.
It was so shocking. I mean, I remember standing there on the evening and just you stood behind the cordon and you watched the fire and the fire brigade responding to it, and you were in absolute shock, and then coming together to say we've got to do something to support the people who have lost everything. And it was so much about just being there, and not just on that weekend, there's that few days, it's absolutely beyond that. It was that whole period to now where we've had to come together as a community to support the people who were affected, most affected. And I can't thank the community enough. It shows what we are as a community. It really shows what Oakridge is, what Basingstoke is. When in need, we come together to look after each other.
Well, there's no timescale as to when the work will be complete, but it's expected to take well into next year. Mike Pearce, ITV News, Basingstoke.
In other news, police are looking for a man who didn't return home from the Boomtown Music Festival near Winchester. 31-year-old Cameron Crowhurst, who's from Birmingham, hasn't been seen since the event at the Matley Bowl a week ago. His family thinks he may still be in the Winchester area.
Elsewhere, police are appealing for help to find a man who's gone missing from a hospital in Oxford. The 39-year-old, who's known as Sonny, disappeared from the John Radcliffe Hospital at around 9:20 yesterday morning. Officers say he has connections to the city, including Cowley and Jericho.
People in a Surrey village are urging pharmacy chain Boots to reverse plans to close their local branch. The chain has proposed shutting its store in Farncombe, blaming poor market conditions. But people who live there fear the closure would make it difficult for some to access vital medication.
I'm okay, I can drive, But a lot of people around here can't. They've got Zimmer frames, walkie things, whatever. They can't drive, or they've got small children in pushchairs. When we first came here 59 years ago, had 3 very small children, and I've been using the shop ever since.
It's seen as more than a pharmacy because people come in here for a multitude of reasons, not just to get prescriptions, but for advice, health advice. The staff have been here years and years. They've got expert experience.
Well, a Boots spokesperson told us there is another branch 2 miles away that will remain open, and no staff will lose their jobs as part of the changes.
The full lineup has been announced for this year's Reading Pride, which is set to take place in just under 2 weeks' time. The parade will set off from the town's railway station at 10:45 a.m. on Saturday the 2nd of September and will wind its way towards Kingsmeadow. This year's headline act is Steps singer Claire Richards. Up to 15,000 people have attended the event in previous years.
Now, Newbury's Northcroft Lido has reopened to the public after it underwent a multi-million-pound transformation.
Well, the pool, which closed last summer, has been shortened from 72 to 50 metres, which the council says will make it cheaper to run. With more, here's Juliet Fletcher.
Well, we've certainly got the weather on our side today, haven't we? And earlier today, the doors opened for the first time here at this revamped Lido here in Newbury. Now, it's got a bit of a seaside feel about it. We've got coloured beach huts to one side that you people can get changed in. There are deck chairs everywhere. And of course, you've got the big pool behind me. Now, the pool has actually been shortened. It was 72 metres long, and they've actually brought it down to 50 metres long. So it's still an Olympic-sized pool. But they've actually done that to make way for some smaller children to have a kind of splash area that they can play in. Now, the council were hoping to have got this facility open for the start of the summer holidays. That hasn't happened, but there are still plenty of families here having lots of fun today.
It's all right, we've enjoyed it. We've only been here for about 10-15 minutes, but yeah, the kids have loved it.
It's really lovely. The kids are absolutely loving it. The splash park's brilliant, the water slides are great. They're already in the pool, they're having such a great time, so it's really nice.
Yeah, with the pool and that, and then the slides and the little splash park, it's just nice, and you haven't got to go too far, you can let your little ones run around and stuff, it's just nice.
I think it's a lot better than it used to be. There's a lot more for the little children. Before it used to be just a small pool in the ground for the little kids.
Yeah, my kids are enjoying it. I haven't seen them since we got here. We've come all the way from Swindon as well, so yeah.
There's actually been a pool here since 1870. It was completely rebuilt in 1937 and at that point was thought to be the biggest pool in the south of England. Now, earlier today there was a ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate the latest revamp. The project hasn't always run smoothly. The council would have liked this facility to have been open for the start of the school holidays.
Well, the most important thing is when you're opening a site like this that you have to make sure it's safe and it's fit for use. And as a council and working with our leisure contractor, Everyone Active, we've been able to make sure that we can open a site properly and that's safe for residents to use. I think that what residents will realise when they come here and they start using it is that every penny spent has delivered an exceptional facility for them.
One of the main reasons for this refurbishment was to extend the swimming season here from 10 to 12 weeks to a 6-month period, so the pool will be open from April to the end of September. Now, it might not have opened at the start of the holidays, but there are plenty of people here enjoying what time they've got left.
Wonderful, Juliet Fletcher. That looks brilliant, doesn't it? Great fun. I like the slides.
You're disappointed Juliet didn't do her piece of camera while going down the slide.
I was expecting, or running through the splash bit. That looked great fun.
Maybe next time.
Yes.
Now you're watching ITV News Meridian in the Thames Valley. Still to come on the programme.
Back-to-back wins for Reading give their fans something to smile about and hope for the new season.
And will this week's weather also be something to smile about? Join me later for all the details where you are.
Plenty more from us, of course, online. All the details you need on the screen, itv.com/Meridian. You can call us 0808 1010 095. And, of course, you can find us and follow us on social media. Flags are being flown at half-mast at fire stations in Dorset and Wiltshire this week following the sudden death of an officer. Dean Hardy worked at Amesbury Fire Station and died at home on Friday. Paying tribute, Chief Fire Officer Ben Ansell said colleagues are shocked and saddened and described Dean as a dedicated officer.
More than 6,000 illegal disposable vapes worth £83,000 have been seized in Portsmouth. 8 shops were raided over concerns the vapes are being marketed to children using fruity flavours and colourful packaging. Well, Trading Standards says offending shopkeepers will face legal action. Now, supermarkets have been told to make their pricing clearer to help shoppers find the best deals in stores. It follows a review into how prices are displayed. Yes, it was carried out by the retail watchdog, the Competition and Markets Authority, which says more needs to be done to help consumers compare prices more easily. With more on this, here's Kevin Ashford.
Supermarket shopping in a cost of living crisis can bring its own challenges. A tight budget makes being able to compare prices before deciding what to buy extra important. Shoppers in Portsmouth we spoke to said prices could be displayed more clearly.
It takes me ages because you're trying to figure out which prices with everything. I normally try to write it down and you go there with actually what you need rather than shopping around.
Just make it more obvious, have a simplified system where you can compare and, make it more usable for the customers.
We're spending hard-earned money. We haven't got a lot of money. Money's not going as far. So I think if they're more honest with us, we're more likely to buy more as well in the long run.
To illustrate where the pricing can get a bit confusing, I have a tale of 2 tomatoes, beef tomatoes to be precise. Now these were on display right next to each other in the shop where I bought them. This one was priced per tomato. This one I suspected was going to be a bit more expensive, but I had no way of making an instant comparison because this one was priced per kilogramme. It's that sort of discrepancy where the retail watchdog, the Competition and Markets Authority, wants to see action.
Our report has found some issues with what the law says about unit pricing. It isn't as clear as it should be, and it also recommends that shops start to make changes right away to improve the system of unit pricing, and that will help people identify better value for money, and that's really important when our wallets are so strained at the moment with cost of living pressures.
None of the major supermarkets wanted to talk to us about pricing, but the body that represents them says regulations in the area need improving.
The report noted that many of the problems around unit pricing were actually in the rules themselves. So retailers were meeting the rules as they are, but those rules probably need to be updated at the moment, and retailers stand ready to support changes to unit pricing rules and implement them in their stores.
In the meantime, the advice to shoppers is to take time to do the necessary calculations to ensure you're getting value for money.
Don't get sucked in by the big flashy prices. If it's the big price on a big yellow label, for example, or on a big bright coloured label, and that's the immediate price you see, don't assume that that makes it the right price. So do have a look at the unit prices where they're available to you, and you might have to do a little bit of maths.
The government says it plans to begin a consultation on the way goods are priced in the autumn. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
See, that would help me. I spend a lot of time at the supermarket just staring blankly at things, thinking, am I saving any money on this?
Well, there are so many measures as well, aren't there?
Yeah.
And the colour-coded stuff is difficult.
I get very confused.
Yes.
Now, the ITV Evening News continues with the national and international news at 6:30. For more, let's to London and Gamal Thomberley.
A whole life order for Britain's most prolific baby killer. Lucy Letby will never be released from prison. The 33-year-old becomes only the 4th woman in English legal history to receive the sentence for killing 7 babies in her care. She refused to attend court. Also, why police won't be taking action in a cash for honours probe into King Charles's charity. And the Lionesses head home empty-handed, but with their heads held high. How will women's sports now build on their success? Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
I'm not ready to talk about the World Cup final.
Oh, go on.
We're going to have to, because
Yeah,
Sarah
I'm
joins us in the
afraid so.
studio for more about it. But it seems to feel, though, Sarah, like it should come with a warning. We are about to see the Spain goal once again, aren't we, in a moment?
We are, I'm afraid, yes, but we're going to put a positive spin on things.
Good.
By the end of this sports slot, we'll all be smiling. Yes, England's Lionesses are returning home following defeat in their World Cup final clash with Spain. Sarina Wiegman's side looked downcast as they set off on their long journey home from Sydney. But as Richard Slee now reports, they'll be welcomed back home by a proud set of fans here in the south, eager to build upon the legacy they've created.
At this soccer school run by Southampton Football Club in Romsey,
All the talk is about yesterday's game, what might have been, and most of these girls watched every game.
It was okay. I mean, they could have done better, but I mean, it was fine, yeah.
Were you really disappointed?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I think the whole nation was disappointed, really, but...
It's really, tense as well, though, because, they hit, so it was quite frustrating as well.
It was that they got to the final, created all of the following, the kids at all of these courses have just been loving life, following all of the games, so I think they...
More than twice as many girls signed up for this year's soccer school than last year, and next year the numbers are expected to rise further. And that can only be good news for England's prospects in the next few World Cup tournaments. Richard Slee, ITV News, Romsey.
In the Championship, Nathan Teller gave Southampton the lead at Plymouth, but his goal was cancelled out when Ryan Hardy struck back for the hosts just minutes later. Che Adams tapped in at the back post to grab the winner for Saints and take his tally for the season up to 3 goals.
Right, to the Football League now, including a Hollywood-worthy script 10-goal thriller for Swindon at Wrexham, an unexpected substitution at Portsmouth and a result to cheer even the most beleaguered Reading fans. First, though, a successful trip to Yorkshire for Oxford United. Oxford United made it 3 back-to-back wins with victory at Barnsley. Goals from Cameron Brannigan and Tyler Gooderham, either side of the host's own goal, put the U's in 4th place. Portsmouth needed the services of a qualified linesman pulled from the crowd to see out this goalless draw against Cheltenham. A local league referee offered his services after 2 assistant referees were injured. Reading were deducted a point by the English Football League last week for financial breaches last season. They gave fans something to celebrate here, though, with Kelvin Abachiman's brace ending 10-man Stevenage's 100% start to the season. In League Two, Gillingham continued their dream start to the campaign at the hands of Crawley Town. The Gills remain top with Crawley in 8th. Harry Ransom's own goal just before the break sent the Red Devils down to their first home defeat in nearly 6 months, and it came after an early penalty miss by the Reds. After going 4-1 up by half-time, Swindon Town fans would have been forgiven for thinking they had victory at Wrexham in the bag, only for the Welsh side to grab 4 back, including 2 in added time. So that local league referee who stepped in from the stands to run the line at Fratton Park was Julian Browning, who said he borrowed some kit and a spare pair of boots. He says he's a massive Pompey fan and was a bit worried about any contentious issues. Perhaps, unfortunately, there wasn't any and ended goalless.
Well, I bet you couldn't believe what happened. No. A dream come true almost. Sarah, thank you very much indeed.
You are right. We have finished the sports section smiling.
Yes, yeah. We are smiling. We're going to smile about this one as well. This really will make you smile because the Wildlife Park in Oxfordshire is celebrating another conservation milestone after the birth of not 1 but 2 baby white rhinos. Well, protecting the species is one of the key missions of keepers at the Cotswold Wildlife Park, which makes their arrivals even more special. With more, here's Cara Digby.
The Rhino House usually draws a crowd, but today visitors are in for a real treat. That's because just over a week ago, this little boy was born to mum, Ruby. But the excitement didn't stop there. Not wanting to be left out, just 2 days ago, the park's other female, Nancy, gave birth to a girl. For the Cotswold Wildlife Park, it means 11 white rhinos have been born here in 11 years, and these 2 have certainly kept headkeeper Mark entertained.
He is an absolute tyrant. Running around, he's running mum ragged. When he's up, he's in and out very happily, confident going in and out on his own, which is quite unusual. And it's like chalk and cheese with the girl over there. She's very steady. She's going just as well. Mum's doing everything right. She's very calm, very relaxed, staying with mum, very attentive. and they're just pottering around quite nicely. So yeah, they're very much of like tortoise and the hare going on, but both doing really well.
White rhinos are an endangered species, so once these youngsters are 3 years old, they'll move on to other parks to help the global effort in protecting their kind.
100 years ago they were thought to be almost extinct, and now there are actually 25,000 in the world, mostly through protection in South Africa, but also a big zoo breeding program throughout Europe and in the States and so on. And it's got to be so often in conservation one is hearing bad news about how the world's going to hell in a handcart. And actually the white rhino and what's going on here is an example that conservation can work. It's something to be really proud about.
So what do we call the new arrivals? Well, the boy has been named Henry, after the headkeeper's son. But the girl is yet to be named, so we'll just have to watch this space. Cara Digby, ITV News, Burford.
Oh my goodness, they're so cute. I think I'd like a rhino now.
Would you?
Yes, I think I would.
Really?
Yes.
Could be problematic in a garden.
But I think it'd be quite nice.
What are they going to call her, though? We've got Henrietta, surely.
Mate, I'm thinking Amanda after
Do you?
me. Why not? Henry and Amanda. Has a certain ring, don't you think?
Kind of.
I like it. Anyway, Pip's another name. It's a nice name as well. Pip's joined us now. Now, thankfully, we got rid of Storm Betty. That went out of the way. And it turned out rather lovely this weekend.
It actually did, yes. Storm Betty rattled through Friday night into Saturday morning. We didn't have the worst of the effects down here, but nevertheless, another batch of rain. But like you say, the weekend itself, it was largely dry, sunny, temperatures up around 25 Celsius. It was lovely. And when the sun came out, we saw something like this. Now, you have to look very closely. You can see the sun coming through the clouds there. This was spotted by Hazel Shoal in Westmoors in Dorset. If you look to the left of the screen, about a third in from the left, you can see a little brightly coloured blob there. That is a sundog. Now, it occurs in much the same way as lots of other optical phenomena where the sun's rays are reflecting off of the high cloud, but nobody really knows why it's called a sundog. Lots of theories. I like to think it's like the sun's got a little pet. What do you think?
Why not?
All the animal theme tonight.
Why not?
Talking of the sunshine, viewers have been doing pretty well with their sunflowers, which kind of annoys me because mine died.
I know, yes, sadly so. But no, our viewers are doing much better. Take a look at this. This is from Sarah Nelson. Lots of sunflowers peeping above the fence in her garden in Winchester. This one, an absolute whopper. This is from Nick and Bonnie. This one around 10 foot tall, but they aren't going to beat Ken. He's an angmering in West Sussex. This one, 15 feet. But I've got to say, they're both a long way off the world record. That's 30 feet and 1 inch long. That was in Germany, and it needed firefighters and its own scaffolding to get a good measurement.
That's tall.
Yeah. So lots of sunflowers. Will there be lots of sun? Let's get a look at the forecast.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
Well, it's certainly been a pretty quiet start to the week weather-wise. More of the same through the next couple of days. So lots of dry weather, bright skies and fairly warm with it too. But as we head ever closer towards the weekend, we could see something a little more showery making a return and perhaps something of a fresher feel as well. But for the time being, this is the setup. High pressure situated very close to southern parts of the UK, not really moving too far over the next couple of days, but low pressure never too far away. Currently situated well down towards the southwest, but it could introduce those more showery conditions as the week wears on. Out there at the moment though, a dry, fine end to the day, some nice late sunshine to be enjoyed. As the night wears on though, we will start to see low cloud drifting up from the south, that perhaps low enough to give some mist and hill fog over the highest ground. And for all of us, another fairly mild and perhaps slightly sticky sort of night. So tomorrow morning, a bit murky first thing, but the low cloud, much like today, will gradually lift and break through the first half of the day. And as we head into the afternoon, again, a good deal of dry and fine weather on the cards. Some lovely sunshine to be found. And inland, temperatures on a par with today, peaking in the mid-20s, always just a little fresher along the south coast. Times of high water for tomorrow then, for Southampton there, 2:45 in the morning, around 3:15 in the afternoon. Confirmation of dry and fine weather through the next couple of days with further showers on the way.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
Not looking too bad. We'll take that. Thank you very much. So in just a moment, the ITV Evening News with Gamal Famblay, and you'll be back with the late news.
I certainly will, just after 10:30. But for now, from the team, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.